Have you ever wondered how many of the greatest discoveries in history were made completely by accident? This is the story of one of the most important scientific breakthroughs of all time, the discovery of penicillin, the world's first true antibiotic. A discovery that changed modern medicine forever. And it all began with a scientist who was known for being messy and disorganized. Alexander Fleming was not the typical perfect scientist you see in movies. In fact, he was the opposite. His laboratory was famously chaotic, with dishes and samples scattered everywhere. His coworkers joked that they always knew which table Fleming had worked on last because he left a trail of experiments behind him. But sometimes great discoveries happen not in a perfect place, but in an imperfect one. In the early 1920s, Fleming was studying dangerous bacteria known as Staphylococcus. At that time, even a small cut could become infected and lead to serious illness or death. There were no antibiotics, and doctors often felt helpless. A simple wound or a cold could turn into something life-threatening. Humanity desperately needed a breakthrough, they just didn't know it was coming. In the summer of 1928, Fleming was preparing to leave his lab for a short vacation. In his usual style, he didn't clean up properly. He left several petri dishes filled with bacteria on his workbench. He closed the door, left for vacation, and didn't think about the dishes again. 2 weeks passed. When he returned, the lab looked even messier than before. Dusty tables, uncovered tools, and old dishes everywhere. But as he examined his samples, something strange caught his attention. On one particular petri dish, there was a small blue-green spot of mold, and around that mold, the bacteria had completely disappeared. It looked like a clean, round circle, as if something had eaten the bacteria away. Most scientists would have thrown it out. But Fleming stopped. He leaned closer. He stared. Something inside him whispered that this was different. So he began to test the mold. He moved a small piece into a fresh dish of bacteria. The same thing happened again. The bacteria died. He tested it again and again and again. Every time, the mold destroyed the bacteria. The mold was identified as Penicillium notatum, and the substance it produced was later named penicillin. Fleming realized that this tiny mold could be the key to saving millions of lives. He published his findings in 1929, excited and hopeful. But surprisingly, almost nobody cared. Doctors thought it was interesting, but impractical. Scientists said producing penicillin in large amounts was too difficult. Pharmaceutical companies ignored it. For almost 10 years, Fleming's discovery remained almost forgotten. Then in 1939, two scientists at Oxford University, Howard Florey and Ernst Chain, rediscovered Fleming's paper. They realized the world had underestimated penicillin. They decided to revive the project and turn penicillin into a real medicine, but producing it was incredibly slow. They needed huge amounts of mold, so they searched every possible place, kitchens, markets, farms, collecting different molds and testing them one by one. One day, they found a rare strain of penicillium growing on a moldy cantaloupe. This ordinary fruit produced 200 times more penicillin than Fleming's original sample. It was the breakthrough they needed. When World War II began, infections killed more soldiers than weapons did. The world urgently needed penicillin. The US and UK governments joined forces to mass produce it. Factories were built, scientists worked day and night, and production increased rapidly. By 1944, penicillin was being used on the battlefield, saving thousands of wounded soldiers. In 1945, Fleming, Florey, and Chain were awarded the Nobel Prize in Medicine for their extraordinary contribution to humanity. Today, penicillin is considered one of the greatest discoveries in medical history. It opened the door to modern antibiotics, medicines that save lives every single day. From pneumonia to blood infections, from meningitis to wound treatment, millions of people are alive because of an accident, because a messy scientist went on vacation and found mold growing in a dish he forgot to clean. It's a powerful reminder that discoveries don't always come from perfection. Sometimes they come from curiosity and from paying attention to the things most people ignore.